Hello, everybody. Welcome to a wonderful Wednesday. Dr. Reese here. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2021. I want to share two quick thoughts today. One of them is about reading. Will Smith says that every day he does two things. One of them is run, one of them is read. Run because he's always trying to push his body and that he feels he can outlast anybody, and that helps drive his consistency and willpower, knowing that every day he's got to run and that he will outwork what he thinks his capabilities are. That certain times during running, his brain says, you need to stop, you're tired. And he tells his body, nope, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to push past that limit of where I think I should quit. So running helps develop that willpower. The second thing he does is read. And reading helps because he says there's not a problem that's ever been on this planet that somebody already hasn't had the problem, figured out how to fix it or solve it, and then wrote a book about it. Now, there are, in this day and age, there are a small number of problems that haven't been solved yet, and maybe you're the one that can have the problem, and if there's no one else that's ever had that problem, figured out how to solve it and wrote a book, maybe you're the one that should be solving it and writing the book. So, Will Smith loves those two things, every day run and read. The second thing about reading that I find fascinating is this idea that it's not necessarily the information in a book that helps us. I heard it explained not too long ago. A couple years ago, I read 50 books, and the year after that, I read 40 books. And then the year after that, I read, I think, 2 books because I wanted to implement all of that information. But the idea that it's not necessarily the information in the books, it's more about the communion or spending time with that author and being in the author's head, almost like having a conversation with the author. And when I read it in the author's voice as if I'm spending time and absorbing some of the wisdom from that author. It's really cool. And so next time you read a book, I'd encourage you to think about that differently. Like, do your best to absorb as much of the wisdom and knowledge from that author like you're sitting with him or her. The second thing I want to share real quick is the mentors and leaders and heroes that we look up to in life. We look up to because there's certain characteristics about them that we really admire, we really love, we really respect. And I want to share with everybody that the reason that we do admire or look up to or respect or love those characteristics in a hero or a leader or a mentor is because those same exact characteristics are actually alive in us. And we recognize them in the other person, the mentor, leader, or hero. We recognize them because we recognize that they're alive in us. Now, I believe we recognize that they're available in us, that they are alive in us, and we haven't employed those characteristics yet as strongly as we recognize them in our hero or mentor or leader. So just the fact that once you start acknowledging that the reason I see that in a leader is because I know it's alive in us, alive in me, and then it's up to me to start to grow and fully employ, fully deploy, and start to really work on those characteristics that I know are alive in me and I know can be grown to a greater state. That's what's exciting for me. So as you start to look around and acknowledge the leaders and mentors and role models in your life. Know that the things that you acknowledge them for are also alive in you. That's the only way that you could really even see them in your leaders. They're alive in you, and our job is to grow those capabilities that we know are alive in us, but grow them to a very high level, which is what our mentors have already done. So, like attracts like. That's how the human mind works. And that's my wonderful Wednesday for this week, is knowing that all those characteristics are alive in you, and our job is to grow them so we can start to become mentors and role models and heroes for the next generation. Thanks, everybody.